Hi Capricorn. It's Libra season and all right. So the dominant energy, the dominant thing in your chart, the thing that Virgo season brought to shed light on was where in your life you hadn't fully or where you just needed to look at some of your grievances and to really feel through different parts of you that have changed, and to know that it's a good thing, to know that it's important to follow that wisdom of what was shed light upon. And for you, you don't really like being told what to do, being a cardinal earth sign. That stubbornness is very great, but this season is now giving you the power and the strength, being a fellow air sign, but also because it is an air sign, it is trining you. So it's opening up, essentially it's just opening up because Libras can be very disciplined people. It doesn't matter what the discipline is. Now that can look differently, but cardinal air is extremely disciplined and can be, especially when it comes to thoughts and needing to see all that there is before deciding on something can be very helpful, because that is that discipline to take the view and to understand, or to try to understand, or try to relate. And for you, the discipline is really about everything and the power that you gain from having seen these. Because for a while, and if you haven't, this month is the Mercury retrograde is really, could be Saturn in retrograde too, just bringing up for you where it is that you have the strength to walk away from now. Certain things that may have bothered you, you have the strength to turn around now. You have the power to turn around now. You have the capability to turn around and understand that these cups that are spilled in front of you, there's still so much more to the story. There's still so much more to what you're not seeing, and that's the Hermit shedding the light upon that. So also, if there's a Virgo in your life, they could be very much that person for you, and it's like you took a blind eye to it for a while, or just were being stubborn about it, and now it's like, oh, here it is, what it is. And it's not about whether you were right or wrong. It's not about whether, it doesn't matter, because once you know, especially if you have factual information, you don't usually question it. Whatever seems to be factual, whatever is factual for you. And this is actually big because it actually helps you so much, because it helps you kind of loosen this grip that you've had on with certain parts of your life, because there's certain things that need to be, you're in the space where Two of Wands is like, you feel confident about like where you're moving forward, but now, you know, you like to plan. You like to have somewhat of a plan, if not a full concrete plan for the most part, especially like now that you have you're in a fellow cardinal sign, that you can take that even further, because it gives you the power, it gives you that sense of control, it gives you that capability, that energy to do so. And Mars being in Libra is also very helpful for negotiating, compromising certain things. And it's really important, now that I say compromising, is that you don't compromise yourself in the action, because it's just preparing. Every season is just preparing you for the next season. So this month, it's funny because the King of Wands is looking this way, and the Queen of Swords is looking that way. So like your reading kind of goes like in this way. It's like a snake. So snakes might be a thing for some of you this month. But the Queen of Swords, it showed up at the end of someone else's reading too. It's just basically like the theme for this month that I've noticed for Libra season. Everyone, because of the shift that's changing, and as the signs grow, we grow with the signs, in the signs, and I like to see them evolve, and I do see them evolve. So, I mean, and even small amounts of evolved is important. It's all important, because it doesn't move. We'd like things to go a lot faster than they do sometimes, and only learning to master deep patience can that help. And like, if you need to contemplate on that, do so. I will explain maybe more during the reading. You just feel confident about how you've handled what's been revealed to you. You feel confident about the fact that you know how to draw clear boundaries with yourself. You know how to draw the line, even with yourself. So I think this month for you is very much for you. It's very much, I know that it's Libras in like relationships, and this will ultimately shift the relationships in your life as well. So what we notice from doing, especially like in terms of Libra season, it's very like that what you do on the inside is on the outside. What are your intentions? Always have an intention for certain things, especially if it's good intentions. If it's ill intent, then no matter what you receive, you'll receive that ill intent back, and karma moves quickly like that this month. So whatever it is, it's freeing you from this. You might even feel lighter by the end of the month too. I do think it's gonna like take its course through you. I don't think this is something that's gonna change overnight. I think this is something that will feel like it changed overnight, but it took, somewhat a little bit of the month to get the full awareness. And it's also about how the Hierophant, how you relate to your material values, what you value materially, in the material world, whatever, and what you value in terms of partnership and how you want to create traditions in your life. That part may have been blocked, and it's something you may have been asking yourself, but for a while it's been this like head down focus and not really a lot of thought process on anything other than work. And you guys are known to be that really hardworking sign, and it's true. Like you don't, but it's like that's your jam. But it's really important that you find the time to, because this, again, like I said, this is very singular. So by the end of the month, when you start to come out of that and maybe even communicate to the people in your life that see you the most, or that you may normally see, but this month you may not want to see them, but they might kind of pull you out anyway, and maybe it'll be good. But just trust yourself on like where you're at in that moment, because things by the end of the month for everyone are going to shift in a certain way that could be surprising for you. Because in the beginning of the month, you might not want to be around people. My nose is itchy, and usually that means like that. Never mind. But if you believe in superstitions, that's what I was going to say. There you go. Especially if you have the tendency to, when you don't like to be wrong, especially about yourself, you can have the tendency to you can like just close yourself off from other people. And the whole point of having people in your life, the whole point of having those intimate relationships is so that you can share those things with people and know that you don't have to go through it alone. And I know that it can sound so cliche, but this month shows you like who's able to hold you when you need that. Like it's like there's a vulnerability too. It's just like that you need that, to know that there's a person like you in your life who you are for everyone else, which is also very much relative to this season, right? So that's going to be amplified in you, which makes you start thinking about your future in terms of family even more, in terms of how you want to set the example in your life even more. And because of that shift, and even just questioning that shift, you'll notice the relationships and the situations you'll find yourself in as that's shifting. Just be aware of what's going on around you and how you're beginning to relate with others, especially towards the end of the month when things go direct. Maybe not in the beginning, but especially towards the end, because then you're going to see where you add value to people's lives and where that helps you feel good. And because you want to, it's not like you don't like to do things that you have to do unless you know where it's going anyway. So like with relationships, it's like you might have this, and you might be shown this expectation that you have, But when you see it, it's so easy for you to let go of that expectation too, because in order to build certain things, you have to learn to let go of whatever has happened before the Five of Cups, the Two of Swords. It doesn't mean, yeah, sure, it could happen again, you know, but you have to know, also be aware and understand that it's possible that it won't happen again. Right? You need to leave that open because of and that correlates so much to what you're going to be revealed to. That control, that sense of control, that expectation. This month is a lot about also control, and where letting go of control is more helpful, what is more harmful, and that push and pull, and that's very much, that's the scale, the seesaw. So, and the twos being very relevant. So it's like by the middle of the month, it's going to be about you and how you want to see your future. And then it's about the third row, the last part of the month is about you and how you see your partner, if you're partnered, or if you're your future partner, your future life, how you see your family set up. So it's going to be like this layered, perfect, planned out month of this is about you and your career path. Then it's about the other part of Venus, which is love, and it's about how you want to see your family, what traditions you want to set up, and it becomes just very clear to you what you want. It's just like, oh, I know, I get it. I understand why I was questioning certain things. It's led me to this thing, which led me to this thing. It's like each step was kind of it's just gonna show itself to you. I know Virgo season probably felt like a mess, but this season is gonna be like cleaning it up for you. So it's like this clean sweep for you this month. Sweep, deep, sweep, whatever that is. I'll find out. Forgive me. I'm just a jumble when the retrograde for Mercury retrograde fucks with me. Yeah, once everything goes direct, you're gonna see even more value too, and because you're thinking of this, it adds more value to how you're making money and how you choose to make money, and how that is so important. So like on the grand scheme and the collective, so you individually, Capricorn, are experiencing this, but for like the collective Capricorn who is going through this, it's so big for the evolution of cardinal Earth, because it's learning to be a little bit more flexible where things aren't working anymore, where when you start to question this thing in your life, oh, it's because I've been doing this, or this, I've been answering it like this, or it's like, oh, I have to choose differently of how I approach ... or how I answer ... and knowing it's for the greater good. It's both equally selfish and selfish when you have the pure intent behind you, and you do. It's just that there's, you like to have the power, you like to have some kind of power, you like to have some kind of control. Well, now this month is really showing you where it's important to have that, and where it's important for you to learn to shift a little bit. Very much like this internal meets external world. So it's gonna sweep everything out of the way. Very beautiful. I was a little, what's that word? I was procrastinating to do this, but I'm really glad I did it. Information to work with me below, one-on-one, and the payment options for that are below. My website link is below for how to do that. And yeah, I'll see you next month, Capricorn. Hi, Capricorn. Good morning. This is what I was talking about, like the snake, like the beginning and the end, because they're facing in different directions, and it's like Mars and Libra season, where you're being disciplined and how it is revealing certain things that you haven't been able to see, it just wasn't time, because it's so much easier to move on this month if you choose to, move forward from things. It's the bridge between the summer and the winter, which is bringing things into death. It's letting things, like seeing things and seeing the things that are usually hidden, the unveiling, whatever you want to call it, spooky season. And it seems as though Virgo season kind of wanted to wait until now, or it's a Virgo in your life, or just this very deep insight you're gaining about how and where your confidence comes from, but also recognizing how naturally confident you are and knowing that it's a strength. Knowing it's a strength, especially when some of you, not all of you, are in a crossroads and you're kind of wondering like how you want to plan out your next steps. Remember, like it was like a step-by-step process you're going through. It's like first you're gonna see the thing, and then you're going to understand why the thing had been revealed to you now, because it's like you're stable in your mind and in yourself in such a secure way this month, especially those of you who have positive and good intentions for what you do and how you want to continue to do what you do, whatever that may be. But it's also how you're setting up the traditional foundation of your future and like what you want for your family, and you're beginning to understand like how you relate to other people. You might even hear through people how much you're valued in the place that you're in. Like for example, I was at my Capricorn brother's job last night, and everyone who meets me always tells me how much they love him and how they couldn't have done it without him. And I think you need to understand that there are some people in your life, whether they say it to you or not, but they couldn't have done certain things without you. And I think it's something that you need to understand and feel for yourself. Not that you need the acknowledgement, but it's knowing that you are being acknowledged for something that is important to you. It's not just about, your intelligence. It's not just about like how much money you have or what you're doing. It's about something that you really value, which is your character. And when you do meet people and how that experience is with them. And that is helping you maybe come out of that place, or coming out of, or it's your subconscious, or it's just really coming through as something that you now understand. It's like something then clicks, like I talked about. It was like it's like this long thing, and then it's that like little piece of wisdom at the end. It's like, oh, it's just about valuing yourself more, because you get frustrated when those things aren't able to be used the way you want to use them, when those character traits are only used for lack of a better word, selfish benefit, especially in this season when there's more behind that, there's more value to it, there's more acknowledgement, and it comes out of nowhere. Some of you have a Taurus in your life too, so if there's someone in your life that, again, like I'm going to repeat what I said in the beginning, if you have a partner, you work closely with people, it may be important to, like, if they don't know you well enough, or even if they do know you well enough, to at least acknowledge and use your communication to say, hey, like, this is about me right now, like I'm just kind of going through something, I gotta figure some shit out, because that might help any of those people from guessing, and it can help avoid unnecessary conflict this month. I know that you're not afraid of conflict, but this month you don't really, it's silly. It would be silly to cause conflict. It's just really important so that whatever. Oh my god, a blue jay just flew right into the window. Huh? That was so cool. Hey man. Yeah, it's just really important. And blue jays have to do with throat. And there might be something that you actually, because of the space or the time that you take from certain people, and you, especially in the beginning of the month, it actually is helpful for both sides. It's helpful. The twos, there's been doubles in every single reading, and then fives. And those are mirrors of each other, for those that you don't know. 5. So those, and 2 9s. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, nines, fives, and twos. Interesting. Yeah. There's like there's just a compromise or a decision about something that has been needed to been talked about, and by the end of the month, I do feel that you'll have more of an understanding of what you want, and you'll be able to share that. And that's seems like that's really what's on your mind right now, is getting everything kind of aligned for, like, especially your thoughts. And not that they don't have to change, but you're finding this strength in seeing things a different way. And you're not, it's important not to be stubborn when someone does open up a different option to you, because especially if you go asking for it. If you don't, okay, I understand. But there's something that becomes very, very clear to you and to another person. If there are, you also might find out more about a situation, and it could lead to resolving something that, again, you've been questioning about the future. So just allow yourself to listen and not be distracted by anything else other than what you like. Maybe even like really sitting with yourself, and like at certain points in the month when you feel maybe called to really understand like what you want and like how you want. And again, like that, the shift is happening internally, but then externally you're going to see the world kind of even shift even more around you, and it becomes even more loving towards you. Not that people don't love you, but there's an emphasis, and you see it with clear eyes and a clear mind and a clear heart for, yeah, just like all around that alignment. Okay, so that snake now is like the nines are ends of cycles, and the five and the two that marry each other. So there's that combo there. All right, Capricorn, it's a lot of direction here. Take it for what you will. All information to work with me is below, and I will see you next month.